President Cyril Ramaphosa has placed South Africa firmly on the global stage by calling on BRICS nations to lead a revolution in international trade, moving from crisis-driven responses to genuine collaboration. Speaking with urgency, he argued that the old frameworks of global commerce, dominated by Western powers and institutions like the WTO, IMF, and World Bank, no longer serve developing nations, which continue to bear the brunt of global crises they did not create. Ramaphosa insists that BRICS is uniquely positioned to build a more inclusive system that reflects the realities of today's interconnected world. With South-South trade rising and new alliances forming, he framed the bloc as an alternative voice challenging decades of imbalance. His words carried weight because South Africa, though the smallest economy in the bloc, represents Africa's place at the table. For Ramaphosa, this is about ambition and necessity, ambition to influence reform and necessity because the current system is failing. President Cyril Ramaphosa has placed South Africa at the center of global diplomacy by urging BRICS nations to transform international trade, calling for a shift from crisis-driven responses to a new era of collaboration that challenges existing structures. Addressing delegates, he linked his remarks to the turbulence of the past decade and the opportunities BRICS, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa have to steer global trade toward a system that better serves emerging economies. His words carried weight because of South Africa's role as a convener of dialogue and the bloc's growing position as an alternative voice in a world dominated by Western institutions. Ramaphosa's message was clear: the global economy is being reshaped by crises ranging from the pandemic to supply chain breakdowns and energy shocks, yet frameworks that regulate trade and investment remain tilted toward established powers. For decades, the WTO, IMF, and World Bank have dictated terms that many developing nations see as entrenching inequality. He argued that BRICS is positioned to chart a different path, one that fosters inclusivity, builds resilience, and moves developing nations from the margins into influence. This is not the first time Ramaphosa has called for rethinking. At home, he ties South Africa's prospects to deeper integration with BRICS, arguing that traditional Western partners impose barriers that limit fair competition. He emphasized that the future of global trade must be multipolar, less dependent on unilateral rules imposed by a few powers, and more reflective of today's interdependent world. He pointed to South-South trade, rising investment flows, and collaboration in energy, technology, and infrastructure as proof that alternatives are possible and already underway. Underlying his remarks was the sense that BRICS stands at a crossroads. Critics dismiss it as a loose coalition with divergent interests, yet it has become a platform for challenging Western dominance, through moves to trade in local currencies, explore dollar alternatives, and expand membership. Ramaphosa argued the bloc's credibility will be measured by action, not rhetoric. For South Africa, struggling with sluggish growth and high unemployment, the stakes are high. By aligning with a BRICS-driven reordering of trade, Ramaphosa is signaling ambition to place South Africa at the heart of reform and necessity, because the current system no longer delivers. At the core of his appeal was shifting from crisis management to collaboration. He argued that the global response to trade disruptions is reactive and short-sighted. Whether food insecurity, energy shortages, or debt burdens, the pattern is the same: developing nations bear the brunt while wealthy nations shield themselves. Ramaphosa insisted BRICS must promote strategies that build resilience before crises, create safety nets for vulnerable economies, and push reforms that democratize decision-making. The vision he set out is not without challenges. Within BRICS, there are differences. China and India are rivals, Russia faces sanctions, Brazil has shifted between engagement and Western alignment, and South Africa, the smallest economy, faces doubts about its influence beyond representing Africa. Yet Ramaphosa's call for collaboration resonated because it acknowledges these differences while seeking to overcome them for shared goals. What makes his intervention timely is growing dissatisfaction with the global economy. Across Africa, Asia, and Latin America, frustration grows as international systems perpetuate inequality. Globalization has not been evenly shared, instead, it has deepened divides. BRICS offers, at least in theory, an opportunity to rewrite rules, build institutions, and rebalance power. Ramaphosa's call for a trade revolution rooted in collaboration seeks to seize that moment. For South Africans, the significance goes beyond foreign policy. If BRICS delivers fairer trade, it could mean more investment, greater market access, and new opportunities for industries stifled by tariffs. From agriculture to mining to technology, South Africa could benefit if emerging economies collectively negotiate better terms. Ramaphosa knows that, at a time of stubborn unemployment and public frustration with government, foreign policy wins that deliver at home could bolster his standing and ease national pressure. Still, declarations must become action. Critics note that BRICS often struggles beyond symbolism. The new development bank was an achievement, but initiatives remain small compared to IMF or World Bank influence. Local currency trade faces hurdles, with the dollar still dominant. Ramaphosa's challenge is ensuring South Africa plays a proactive role in turning BRICS promises into action, whether through joint infrastructure, energy initiatives, or coordinated positions at global forums. His emphasis on collaboration also reflects his style. Known for consensus, Ramaphosa frames South Africa as a bridge builder rather than a disruptor. His appeal for BRICS to move from crisis to collaboration matches his political identity, a leader who avoids conflict yet seeks to reshape the status quo. Whether effective in tough trade negotiations remains to be seen, but it gives direction to South Africa's strategy. For viewers of SA Unfiltered, the importance lies in the questions it raises. Can BRICS deliver a new trade order that benefits ordinary South Africans? Can collaboration among rivals produce change? Or will the rhetoric of revolution be swallowed by political realities? These questions matter, because they touch jobs, prices, and the economic future of millions. Ramaphosa's call for BRICS to move from crisis to collaboration raises questions that affect every South African. Will new trade rules bring real change, or fade into rhetoric? These are debates that shape our jobs, prices, and future. Stay with SA Unfiltered for sharp insights.